Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. It
Is
is Unc and Phew, man. We got Unc El Jefe, the boss in the building. Got your host for the most big stepper, Big Baby J. And I'm coming here in depression, bruh. In pure depression. But before we start it off, before we spark it off, I want anybody who's watching, showing us love, even when we have one viewer, two viewers, 30, I don't care. If you're watching the replay, like the stream, like the podcast, best way to support. Me and the homie are back. We're back with another one. We're back doing it right. We got to get into it. Unc, talk to us. Unc, talk to us, man. How you doing,
Listen,
bro?
man. I know you have a heavy heart right now with that L, but nothing you could do. It was close game. So I'm
Oh,
not gonna comment too
um,
much on
I
it.
will say like this, man. Me and Unc had to come back because we had so much success last year, and it's just fun to talk hoops. Best time to talk basketball is obviously the playoffs,
Playoffs, yeah.
and we have to get into it,
hmm
right?
hmm
We have to talk about basketball, and you know me, man. I'm a bronze sexual, bro.
Bronze
I,
sexual.
I I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm out the closet. It is what it is. We have Unc here down, who's a pure LeBron hater, or maybe a critic,
I'm a
as he
critic.
says.
I'm a critic. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I know I've been
Yeah,
labeled as
okay,
a hater. I just couldn't
okay.
tell the truth, but it is what it is.
Wow, wow. I knew it was gonna start, man. I knew that season 2 had to start like this. But I'm gonna give it to you, Unc. You are you actually make a point, especially in this game. And if you don't know what we're talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves taking the lead 3-1. 90. What? Wait, I'm looking at the wrong scores. I'm gonna get the right scores in front of your faces. Uh, taking it. This was 116 to 113. Talk to us, Hefe. Talk to us, boss. What did you think, or maybe what did you see if you watched the game? What were your thoughts, brother, from
I
what
actually
happened
haven't
in
I
this
haven't
game, bro?
even watched it yet. To be
Right.
honest, like I got home while it was playing and stuff, and then um,
Hmm.
it was, all as soon as I turned on IG, all I saw was like
Oh,
you know OKC UFC not in five. So
oh.
that's all you're gonna do. But I'll
Um,
probably watch some highlights and stuff. But it was a
yes,
close
sir.
game from what I see. So
It was incredibly close. I want y'all to get active in the chat, man. You know what I mean? Show your boy some love. Show us some love.
mhm.
I watched the full game. I'm gonna keep it a bean, right? And what I saw in the game was the Lakers were actually leading most of the game. Actually, it was until the fourth quarter that your boy, our boy, I consider him our boy, Ant Edwards went off 16 points in the fourth. If we look at the stats, the man had 43 points. Most of his points came in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
Also, Julius Randle came with 25 points, but the person who really impressed me the most was actually Nas Reed. And they're not going to show this in a lot of the highlights,
Mhm.
but Nas Reed was locking Luka up in the fourth. Luka could not get shots off. Luka could not do anything. And then on the other end, Nas Reed had two clutch threes with the last 2 minutes of the game. So anytime the Lakers got close to tying it, in their face,
In the
clutch
face, yeah.
three, in their face. And I'm telling you right now, they also targeted Luka on the offensive front. So what happened was every time that Luka was trying to guard somebody, Jaden McDaniels from the Timberwolves or even DiVincenzo, they go straight at Luka
Adam. Yeah.
because
Smart.
Luka cannot play defense, bro. I like Luka a lot. This MFer cannot play defense, brother. Like,
No.
bro, they look. He's a statue, bro. Homie cannot shift. He cannot move. Man, I'm trying to. I'm not now. I understand what Nico Harrison was talking about. Unc, what did you think,
hmm
bro? Do you think Luca is a liability like that? What are your thoughts on Luca, bro?
And when he was in Dallas, you could tell that he was a little bit of a liability.
Yeah,
He did improve a little bit last year. So when he
facts.
got traded to the Lakers, I was like, okay, that's somebody that's gonna help out, and maybe they can go deep in the playoffs. You know, again, people say I hate LeBron. I don't hate LeBron. I just
You hate
I can
LeBron,
say
man. Stop playing.
this.
Stop playing with
Listen,
the
listen.
people, man.
There's nothing I can say bad about the guy. He's 40 years old. He's been playing for a while, and he's still
Yeah,
playing pretty competitive. But he wasn't the one that's going to lead the Lakers to a deep run in the playoffs. Let's be honest about that. So
yeah,
when the Lakers got Luca, I was like, okay, maybe they do have a chance. But yeah, he just seems like he doesn't want to play defense at times. Like he just like you
yeah.
said, he is a statue, right? Stand still. You don't win championships by just shooting threes nonstop. You got to play some type of defense. But on the other hand, look at Gobert. I think what he defensive player a couple years ago, but he just
Yeah.
sometimes he's a liability, right? And
Oh
he's like
yes.
7'2". So you
Yeah,
can't
he's
you
tall as
can't
hell.
blame
But
Luca for everything, but he's
nah,
yeah, he is a little bit of a liability on D.
man. You know what we gotta do, man? We gotta start writing this MF an apology letter, bro. We gotta
Oh,
write
not
this
yet,
guy
not
in.
yet, not yet,
Not yet. Not
not
yet.
yet, not
Is it
yet.
too
No, no,
soon?
not yet. It's a little too soon. Not yet. You
Okay.
never know. You never
Okay.
know. They still got a couple games.
They still. You look. I know y'all gonna hate me. I might even make this a clip, and y'all can make jokes. I know Hefe gonna make jokes on me. I know Unc is gonna troll me, but I got Lakers in 7, bro. We got him in 7. It ain't in 5 because it's just we got it in 7, dog. Lakers in 7. You know what I mean? Dogs in heaven. I don't know. I'm not rhyming nothing.
Stop
Lakers
it.
in 7.
Listen, I'm gonna agree with you that they're going to 7 games. I'll agree with you with
Mm.
that, but I can't go against my boy Ant. So I got Wolves. I
Ooh.
got Wolves in 7.
You got the Wolves in the 7.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna leave it at this though. I'm gonna leave it at this. Y'all know me, man. Y'all know how I get down. I'm a LeBron guy. I'm a LeBron guy. I'm just gonna keep it a bean. But what he showed at the end of this game versus Minnesota was horrible. And why I'm gonna say it on two fronts. Why? Lakers were up, I think, almost 10 points going into the fourth, right? Guess how many points LeBron had in the fourth quarter?
I'm gonna say 6.
Egg.
Yeah, I gave him too much credit.
I guess you did, bro. 0 in the fourth. And guess who took the last shot to tie the game going to overtime?
Luca? Not
It
even.
wasn't even Luca because they were doubling Luca. They swung it. Luca
Reeves?
swung it to LeBron. It was Reeves, and LeBron swung it to Reeves. Reeves shoots it. It hits basically the backboard, the edge of the backboard. And I'm like, brother, even your LeBron, MF, and James, bro.
Hmm.
If you are the boss, the leader, the GOAT, as I see you, F Reeves, take
Mhm.
the shot. Take the shot. And guess what? If you miss, you miss, but at least you went down swinging. It's like a boxing match, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You want to go down with the
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I had some
There
mic
you
issues. Apologies for that, people.
go.
But I know one guy who would have taken that shot. You think this guy's passing to anybody?
Of course not. Of course not. Because he's already had 42 in the game. Why not just keep feeding him? That's how it is.
You know, another guy who I'm pretty sure would not even think about passing to any. This guy,
That's for sure. 100%. He's not passing nobody.
is he passing to Reeves?
Nah, nah.
This
He's not even
guy's
looking
this guy.
Reeves away.
What is a Reeves? A Reeves doesn't exist in this man's eyes.
No,
You know what I mean?
for
And
sure.
as a LeBron fan, that's what disappointed me because let's say, for example, let's run the scenario, right? Let's say, like what I was saying, he has 0 points in the fourth quarter. He already had 27 points in this, right? And let's say he takes a final shot of the in regulation, sinks it, game goes to overtime. Because at this point, it was 116, 113 Minnesota.
Hmm.
Lakers had about 9 seconds. Sorry, they had about 4 seconds. My bad. Right? Let's say LeBron sinks it, makes the three. game goes to overtime. You know what? People are gonna respect that. They're gonna
Yeah.
respect that you took that shot, that you took it to OT. Whether you win or lose in OT, it really doesn't matter. But you had the balls to do it. I'm not going to put one of the most pivotal, most important games in the hands of No disrespect to Reeves. Austin Reeves?
Yeah.
This is the
He's
guy?
yeah. See, but that's
Oh
the
my
thing, and
God.
that's why everybody labels me as a hater because that's not the first time he's done that, right? It's not the first time he
Yeah,
hasn't scored in the fourth. He disappears in the fourth, so that's what I don't like. The fact that he doesn't have
right.
what my boy says, the killer gene, right? No longer there.
Mm,
So that's always been my biggest issue with him, you know.
right.
But it is what it
I,
is.
I will say this. I will say this. If LeBron, if you really are the GOAT, you know what I mean, you shouldn't hesitate from those moments. And I'll tell you this, even though Luca defensively is a liability, but he'll take the shots.
Yeah.
Luca is willing to take those shots. So even when he's double teamed, I just think that LeBron has to really settle into being the second best player on his team and hold that role because this has to be Luca's team moving forward because I don't know, bro. I don't know if they can even beat Minnesota at this level. I'm gonna
Mhm.
say in seven, this goes seven. But I know something that didn't go seven, and that's the OKC Thunder absolutely destroying Memphis.
Memphis,
Um,
yeah.
it was absolute. It was a beatdown, man. It was a
Yeah.
beatdown, and there's even rumors now, at least from what I'm hearing, that John Morant might even think about potentially leaving Memphis. But I'm telling you right now, man, whoever faces OKC is in big trouble. Unc, what do you think about them, bro? What are your thoughts, G?
I haven't seen a lot of OKC games,
Mm,
but like the beginning of last year, not even beginning of last year, like most of last year, they played as a unit. I think we touched
yes,
on that, right? And they're
yes, we
showing it
did.
this year too. Like it's ridiculous that when you're not selfish as a team,
Hmm.
it shows, right? But I don't know. I don't think the Grizzlies were, or let me saying, uh, John Morant wasn't the opponent they needed to kind of showcase their any weaknesses. But because
Yeah.
Ja's Ja, what he ended up missing the last 2 games, the last 3 games.
Yeah, he got injured in the last two
Right.
games. It was some kind of complaint that I think it was saying that they injured him, but it doesn't even matter because even if
Yeah.
Ja played, I think they were gonna get destroyed anyways. The Thunder
Mhm.
are really, really good, brother. They are really, really
Yeah.
good, and they shut it down. They had like a 29-point comeback, fam. It was crazy. It was
Yeah, it was
crazy.
ridiculous. Yeah. What game? I
Yeah.
think it was a game one or game two where they won by like 50 something, 56 or something like that.
Game one, they won by
Like that's
50.
insanity. You know, that's crazy to me. But
Playoff game, by the way. Like,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
hell? It's not a regular season.
No, it's not like a exhibition home opener. Get new fans, whatever. No, this is playoff
Yeah,
basketball, and you lose by 56. Like, wow.
man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, man. It might seem weird, but we got to talk about this individual winning MVP. By the way, guys, get in the chat. Let me know y'all thoughts. And this has been the debate going on in
Mm-hmm.
NBA right now, most of the season.
Most of the season.
Jokic versus Shy. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, fam. What do you think? What do you think, man? Shy
Um,
versus OKC, SGA versus Jokic. Who do you think deserves that MVP, brother? What are your
what?
thoughts?
I don't even know, to be honest with you, because I haven't seen enough of Shea to critique or anything like that.
Right.
From what I understand, he's what do they call them? He always looks for the foul. Right? Like always looks for the foul. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, well, that's
he
not
does.
necessarily MVP worthy, but the team itself, he's leading the team, right?
Yes.
They just destroyed Memphis, so I don't know, but that's regular season and playoff is different. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of him to seen him play. But Joker, Joker, we all know Joker's MVP status.
Oh,
But
oh yes.
I don't know, fourth seed, eh? They're fourth seed this year.
Yeah, they came in
Nuggets.
as the fourth seed.
Hmm.
The Nuggets. I'll give you the argument for and against SGA. The argument for SGA is SGA led the league in points.
Hmm.
Per game this season. I think at like 32, and he's the best player on the best team. You
Yeah,
know, and maybe I'll argue the best team in the league is probably Cleveland, but their record is not the best. OKC is the best team on paper,
on paper.
but Cleveland, I think, is going to be so hard to stop.
Hmm.
So he's the best player on the best team. One great point that you made, Unc, is this man loves the free throw line and the refs love giving it to him. He had 38 points yesterday, bro, and 12 free throws, man. He sunk 11
Wow.
of 12. But brother, it was
Yeah.
so crazy because he has games like that where he's always at the line. I'm like,
Line. Yeah.
cuz, like what?
Yeah.
You can breathe on him wrong. Homie's getting pushed.
Yeah.
So that's the argument kind of for and against him. But the argument for Jokic is triple double regular season.
Mm.
And he was top five in rebounds, top five in assists, top five in points.
Yeah.
Never seen that. And
Hmm.
even I think it was somewhere pretty high among steals. You know what I mean? So Jokic, technically, you could argue that he could win MVP again because
Yeah.
Jokic does everything for Denver. But
Yeah.
it's up to the NBA writers, right? They're the
Yeah.
ones who
Fair enough.
decide who wins. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We got to take into account viewership and all that stuff too, right? Because like
Right.
even though people may not talk about that, but you got to take into account the business side of it. Like, is SGA
Mm-hmm.
bringing in viewership, right? We all joke is just
Yes.
bringing in viewership, but
Mm-hmm.
his team's fourth seed. This guy's team is first, right? Better record, all
Right.
of that. So I overall, to be honest with you, it's sad to say, I don't really care who wins MVP. It's just not it's not exciting. Like, these games aren't exciting to watch anymore for me.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, but the Clippers and Rockets.
Oh, oh. Now that's a series to watch, my
Mhm.
G. The out of all the matchups, this has
Mhm.
been my favorite, fam.
Yeah,
Clearly, game-winning buzzer beater dunk by Aaron Gordon.
Jordan.
Jokic did Jokic things.
Yeah,
Kawhi was doing his thing. We even had a scrap, bro. They
yeah.
scrapped
The
yesterday.
beard was a little annoyed with
Yeah,
how
the
hard they're
beard was a
playing
little.
defense on him, right?
They were on Harden's
Yeah,
ass, fam. You know what
yeah,
I mean? But it was a fantastic game, my guy.
hmm
101 to 99,
yeah,
start to finish. Great basketball. Clippers came back in the fourth. It was a battle, man.
yeah,
2-2. I think this is going seven.
yeah. They're
Unc,
definitely going 700%.
yes, sir.
Totally
What,
agree.
what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts in the series in general, brother?
On the series, well, Jokic obviously is doing what he's doing. Kawhi, we all know
Hmm.
that guy's a star,
Yes, sir.
and the beard, as much as I sometimes don't like him, the guy can play. You know,
Oh
the guy can
yes. Oh
play.
yeah.
But the key for me, if you notice the losses for the Nuggets, is Aaron Gordon. When Aaron Gordon
Oh,
is
okay.
on fire, like they dominate. So he's I've always liked him as a player. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, he got cheated in the dunk contest that we don't want to talk about anymore because it's horrible. But um, yeah, he's the key. If he can get going early, then Nuggets can pull the series out. But if they don't get him going, then it's all on Jokic because Murray's not doing much. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
will
that's the
say
that's the key
this.
for me.
I will say this. When they fired Michael Malone,
Hmm.
I personally thought Denver was cooked. I'm being real.
Yeah,
I thought Clippers in five. I'm being a bean. I even had our group chat, my other homies, and I said, bro, I think Clips are gonna destroy them. Right?
yeah,
And if you
that's
looked at the
fair.
first few games, it looked like the Clippers were gonna destroy them. But I forgot, which is kind of dumb of me, that they have an MVP candidate who could Jokic, who went
Hmm.
nuts, especially even in last game where in the fourth quarter he was making clutch shots, passes. He went
Yeah.
36, 21 boards. Crazy. And you know what I mean? I think he had if I'm looking here directly, he had 8 assists, but he was so confident
Yeah.
and going points first. Um, this is going 7 for sure. Aaron Gordon, like you said, had a good game as well.
Hmm.
Jamal Murray actually is coming back and having okay games.
Okay, games. Yeah.
But like you said, brother, these you don't know who's gonna step up. Kawhi
Yeah.
could step up, Zubac can step up, Norman Powell can step up on the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's this is the most fun series to watch, brother. I'm being
Yeah.
real with you. Yeah.
For sure. For
And
sure.
whoever wins gets the award of playing OKC.
Okay. See. So we'll see how they do that if they don't tire out or anything like that. So we'll
Yes,
see.
sir. Right now, a really fun series to check out, by the way, that I've been very interested in. And maybe I want to know your thoughts because you're the OG. You remember when this team I wish I saw this team in the 90s, but I'm talking about the Knicks.
The
You know what I
Knicks.
mean?
Yeah.
The Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. It's like a
Hmm.
cool, almost throwback type of vibe,
Hmm.
fam.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Knicks in the 90s were
Mm,
there were that I don't want to say the bad boy Pistons because obviously
right.
nobody has ever been like the bad boy Pistons, but they were a scrappy team and they all played well. Like
Mm.
Allen Houston, Charles Sprewell, John Starks, like those guys were like Anthony Mason, which was built like a linebacker. Like what is this guy doing playing basketball? But right, but that team was they were like a hard nosed team, and they were great to see and great to watch. It's unfortunate that they ran into Chicago every year,
Mm,
except for that one year that MJ retired. But um,
right.
no, yeah. Anthony Mason's ridiculous. Like look at the size of this
Yo,
guy.
this guy's big as hell. Yo, what? Yo, what's going on?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right?
And the guy's like right
Jeez.
there in that picture. He's probably like 19. So
What? What's
yeah,
going on,
that's a
man?
grown
What
man at like 20 years old. So.
what are these guys eating, bro?
Mhm. No, like Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley mentored Scotty when he was on Chicago. So he had,
Oh.
he had a little bit of a grudge against Chicago. That's why he wanted to beat them so bad. But that
I
was like
do.
those were fun series to watch, and it wasn't anything malicious
Mm,
or anything trying to get trying to like demolish each other just by points. Like even LJ, like LJ is another guy. Like the guy was what
mm,
6'7", probably like
mm.
250. So like, yeah, it was
Okay.
crazy. But
LJ Larry Johnson? Is
Larry
that the guy?
Johnson, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
grandmama.
okay. Let's
Yeah.
get it, man. Cause for me, like, I obviously I wasn't there to watch the games like that. I was
Hmm.
probably my mom's belly. You know what I mean? I was in my mama's tummy.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to the Knicks right now. They're very scrappy, fam.
Hmm.
They're very, very scrappy. And the game that just happened recently, uh, clutch plays from Anthony Towns. They're leading
Yeah.
3-1, going back to New York. This series looks about finished.
Yeah.
I just want to give credit to somebody who has become a mini star, and I really like the way he plays. This guy, Cade Cunningham.
Hmm.
If you get the chance, guys, go
Hmm.
watch him ball. He's been performing really well in the playoffs. Unfortunately, Detroit doesn't look like they're gonna win this series. It's 3-1. I don't
But
anticipate them coming back like my Lakers gonna come back. But okay, have you gotten the chance to see this man play? He's really
no,
good, bro.
no, no, not from Detroit. No.
Hmm.
A couple like I was when Towns was traded to New York, I was a little
Right.
upset about that because I liked him in
Mm.
Minnesota. I thought a young team with Ant and him, it was gonna be good. But so I was a little down when they traded him, but he's shining like he should. So that's good for him. But no, I haven't checked this guy out at all.
You get the chance if you do. They're about to get destroyed in the next game for sure. But the Brunson and Anthony Towns combo is really good, man.
It's a good combo, yeah.
I'm not sure how far they go, but
Hmm.
I'm sure they're going to test whichever team they play next. That's for
Hmm.
sure. That's for sure. I haven't seen the
Honestly, I
bracket
didn't
yet.
even see the bracket. Yeah, I was like, I haven't even looked at the bracket. So they're
Yeah,
playing Boston or Cleveland, I assume.
Actually, I'll pull up the bracket. While I pull up the bracket, I'm just gonna dip out for a quick second.
Hmm.
I'll be right back. If you can just talk to the people, like
Yeah,
literally 20 seconds. I'll be right back, brother. All right?
sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah. If you if you can talk about the Cavs, that'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, Cavaliers are doing good this year. About the sweep, who are they sweeping? Can't remember who they're going to sweep, but Donovan Mitchell, what, 25 points plus in the last 4 games? So, um, last 3 games. Sorry, my apologies. So yeah, Donovan Mitchell is going to be the one to look out for sure when they get in the deep run. So they don't need LeBron's legacy in Cleveland no more. They got a new star.
Oh man. I
I'm
knew it
playing.
was
I'm playing.
coming, man. I knew it was coming, man. All right, man. Anyways, man, talk to us in the
Anyways,
chat, guys. I appreciate y'all for sliding through again. Smash that like button. If you guys are listening on audio only, make sure you give us 5 stars and
yeah,
show us some love with the iPod Apple reviews or Spotify reviews, man. We appreciate that, man. We love basketball. We love talking ish, man. You know how that goes, man. Whenever you
yeah.
listen to Unc Phew basketball, it's always a vibe. I pulled out the bracket right now. It looks like the Cavs are obviously up 3-0. They're
Oh,
about to sweep by Miami Heat. It's
mm-hmm,
happening
mm-hmm.
tomorrow. I'm about to cry. It is what it is. All
Two
my
days in a
teams are
row
ass.
for you.
It's 2 days in a row. I'm going through it, man. I'm not betting no money. I'm not going to FanDuel no more. Bet three six
Nah.
five. I'm gonna. But anyways, they if they when they win if they win the series, the Cavs will face the winner of Bucks Pacers.
Pacers,
I
yeah.
don't really I haven't been really following that series that much. But Bucks Pacers, because I think the Pacers are gonna win. Pacers are looking really good. But
Mhm.
the real bracket that we have to watch on this side is Knicks Pistons.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna play the Celtics because the Celtics are up
Two,
2-1
2, 1.
versus the Magic, brother. So what are your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on this bracket? Do you think who do you really have coming out of the East, brother? Do you have any? What are your thoughts? Because they're going to be competitive, I think. What do you think,
I
brother?
Yeah, I think so. That bracket, as they call it in the World Cup, is like a bracket of death with the Knicks,
Yes.
Pistons, and Celtics. So um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I thought, when Jason Tatum came into the league, I thought I was gonna be like a fanboy, just because I liked how he played. But
Yeah.
something about him just I moved on. But I think the
Yeah.
Celtics have the experience, they have the knowledge to come out of the East. So I'm gonna say Celtics against Cavs for the Eastern Conference. And of
Mm.
course, I want my Timberwolves um, against the Thunder probably in the West.
I'm
So
asking. I'm asking the chat something. I want y'all to get in the chat. Is Tatum a guy or a flop? And when I say a guy, y'all know what I'm talking about. Because you and me,
mhm.
this is something we do agree with, Unc. I agree with you. I do not believe in Tatum. I do
No,
not.
no,
I don't
it's
know
almost
what
like
it
he
is.
was like manufactured so that we could have a new star,
Yes.
but like he just doesn't come across as like likable,
No.
which is weird because that's what he's supposed to be.
But I'm gonna give him this credit, bro. I'm not here to be a hater, man. If we just look at straight up his stats, right? Amazing season. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
First team for sure.
Yeah.
26 points, 8.7 boards, 6 assists, 46% shooting. Great season.
Hmm.
First team All NBA for sure. Is he clutch though? No. He has a fantastic team.
Yeah.
That Celtics team is stacked, bro.
Yeah. 100%. And they play
You know,
well
so
together
so
because they've been playing for years, right? So
yes,
it
sir.
just it
I'm
makes
going
I
on
don't
the
know.
flop side, man. I say he's a
Yeah.
flop, man. I'm being real, man. I'm a
Yeah.
call me a hater, call me man. I just don't feel it. It's like his team is so good that him being good just makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
But is
Yeah.
he like an MVP guy? I don't know, bro. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
don't. Yeah, I don't think so. Like you
Yeah.
said, the team is he's a reflection of the team. So the team's
Yes.
fantastic. He's the face of the Celtics, obviously. So
Mhm.
it elevates him a little higher than he may should be. Like he should be here, but because of his team, he's up here, right? So
Yes.
it's
Like,
one of those things.
could you see him on Portland being dominant? Could not see it, bro.
No,
If he was playing on, like, let's say the Charlotte Hornets, like, bro, what? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, he would just be another guy there, right?
But this
So
is a guy. This is a guy
yeah,
though.
this is a guy. Yeah.
This is a guy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I look at it like this: if we go back to the bracket, fam, I really want to see Celtics Cleveland, man, because the times that they
Yeah,
have played in the regular season, fantastic games, goes
yeah.
down to the wire. Um, could we see an upset? Like, could the Knicks take the Celtics too far? Could the Pacers do something? What do you think? What do you think, Unc? Is it possible?
Uh, I don't know about the Pacers beating Cleveland. I
Mm,
just think Cleveland's too cohesive. They're playing really well. So I
yes, they
don't
are.
see the Pacers doing that. But the Knicks with
The Celtics.
Celtics, yeah, that's a possibility. It's going to be a great series if they make it past the first round. So that's
Hmm.
going to be one to watch for sure. And
People getting, yeah,
that's the crappy part is like on the West, there's nothing. Yeah, we can't wait to the conference because we want certain teams there, but there's no
yes.
excitement in the middle of the bracket, like
Hmm.
the semis or whatever. But there's no excitement on the West. The East has the excitement back, which is for me, which is good because I was always been an Eastern Conference guy, obviously because
Yeah.
the goat himself. So um,
You're talking about LeBron James, of course. He was at the Cavs for a minute.
yeah, this is true. um, but yeah, so it's nice to see that the Eastern Conference has some good teams again. So that's been exciting.
For sure. People get in the chat. Let us know who y'all think is gonna make it out of the East, out of the West. And we're gonna be doing this. I'm pretty sure Unc is available Sunday evenings. I'm
Hmm.
pretty
Hmm.
available Sunday evenings, so we might do a weekly wrap up. I'm definitely gonna take mental notes and take just straight up notes to see what we think, what we predict. At least from what we're saying, at least we're agreeing on that. Boston versus uh the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that would be an amazing series. I can
Yeah,
anticipate that. Shout out to my homie Sleepy Euphoria in the chat. Hefe, you already got a man on your side. He is a big LeBron critic. We literally have wars texting. Homie was roasting me right before the pod, right before the stream. He was on my neck. I was fighting for my life.
life.
You have no idea. Shout out to bro and shout out to Anthony, Rachel, Relka. I'm sorry, I'm messing up your name, Anthony. Cavs, New York, Boston in the East. Okay, proper. OKC,
See
Warriors,
Wolves.
Wolves. That's actually a pretty good prediction.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what are you looking at in the West, brother? Well, how does the West look for you? Who do you think are the last two teams we're gonna see in the West, bro?
For me, yeah, I'm thinking Thunder. Thunder should
Mm,
pull it out
yes,
if the
sir.
Nugget. I'm gonna say if the Nuggets win against the Clippers, then the Thunder could beat the Nuggets because they want that revenge. But um,
Mm,
if the Clippers win, then I don't know. I see it a little bit, as weird it may sound, a little bit more of an even fight because I don't think Kawhi will just let it be because
mm,
he wants to win. He'll put in that effort, and then hopefully nothing happens to him. But he's that guy that just quietly plays and plays hard. So that may be a better, more exciting series. I don't know, but and then
right.
the Rockets Warriors doesn't really matter to me. But I don't know. I think I just don't like Draymond. I'll verbally say that.
Oh, you don't like Draymond?
I
You
don't
got
like
some.
Draymond at all.
You got something in common with Jalen Green because Jalen Green, by the way, the funny enough, the Rockets lost yesterday
Hmm.
without Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was injured. Jalen Green, he's the star for the Rockets.
Hmm.
He went off on Draymond. They almost fought. at
Yeah,
the end of the game because Draymond was yapping in it. You know what Draymond do? Draymond was
exactly.
on his neck,
Hmm.
but it's getting to the Rockets. It's a mind games he's playing.
Yeah. Oh,
He
100%.
has
And
their
he's
best player phased out. I
yeah,
mean,
because he's that's who like that's not who he is, but like he has the experience
mhm,
to do that, right? These young guys
yes.
they don't know how to handle that. They don't allow too much trash talking anymore. But Draymond will still trash talk. He'll still get a tech, right? He's
Hmm.
like that. That's how he gets into people's heads. It's just it's annoying. But these young guys don't know how to deal with it, and that's almost fight the other day. There's
Yeah.
when Green choked Gobert out. Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who is this guy? He's a menace. So, like, for me, that he's always been the sore spot of what the Warriors team was all about. Like, when they were at their peak, yeah, like that's insanity to me.
Like what is bro doing?
Yeah, no,
He
so
used Draymond used to stomp people, bro. Like in the nods, stomp him out. Like, what are you doing,
he
cuz?
still does that, man. He
Like,
just flings his arms like he's like, it's that's why the reason one of the reasons why I don't like him. But his other reason is
yeah,
like he hasn't done anything without Curry. Like when Curry
of
was out,
course.
they didn't win, but yet he's still yapping like he's the best player on the team. Like you know, like forcing KD out. Like I would have
That
traded
was so
Draymond
bad.
before I traded KD. Like what? So, but
Mm,
yeah, Warriors and Rockets doesn't really matter. Whoever wins there is gonna lose next round. So
yeah, that's
to my
that,
wolves,
to your yo, Unc, at this point you might as well get a Ant Edwards
Hey,
jersey, brother.
it's on
You might
order.
as
It's on
well.
order.
It's on order. Damn. By the way, shout out to Anthony in the chat. You're active, man. Rodman is
Hmm.
the best. Shout out to Rodman. I will say this, man. As much as we want to criticize, by the way, people, 8 people in the chat here, man. Y'all, I better see 8 likes, man. Let's get the likes up. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. You know what I mean? My thoughts about Draymond is they've evolved, bro. Because I used to really hate Draymond, right?
Hmm.
Dude was stomping people in the chest just for
Yeah,
fun. He's choking MFers out. He's doing all that. But I think if we keep it real, he is the leader, I think, of the Warriors, brother.
other Warriors.
Because I'll be real, Steph Curry doesn't have that leader personality, that bravado, you know?
Hmm.
And like you said, I agree with this point you said, bro. He's playing mental games because Draymond, like you said, he's not going to score 30 points. Draymond is not going to have a triple double. Draymond is there for hustle, maybe gets 2, 3 blocks, a steal,
Yeah.
pressure defense. He's like actually he's not even as good as Rodman. Rodman was
No,
better. But
I was about to
Rodman,
say. I'm like, don't even
he,
say he's as good as Rodman. Don't say that.
I will say this, Dennis Rodman was better. I'm not going to play games with Rodman. But Rodman, he was not a scoring guy. He knew his
Hmm.
role. He was a role player,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And even though Draymond is annoying, but if Draymond can get the best player this angry, think about it. That makes a
Yeah.
big difference from a winning or losing
Hmm.
team. Unc, what are your thoughts, bro?
No, I
Any
totally agree.
Rodman
Like,
comparisons? Yeah,
yeah, like I'll give him that, right? He's gritty. He knows his role. He knows, like you said, he's not going to be scoring 30, 35 points for you a night. But
right,
he can hustle on rebounds. He can hustle on plays, distract the other players. Like, and that's exactly what Rodman did. When you needed a boost of
right,
energy, Rodman came in, got the crowd involved, dove for those loose balls, gave you 30
right,
rebounds a night. He may have had 2 points. Could have been a dunk or something, but he gave you 30 rebounds a night, and that's what his role was. He was there and he
right,
understood that. He wasn't there to score. Nobody else was there to score except MJ, right?
right,
Pippen was there
right,
to lead the team. He was there for assists. He was there for rebounds, for steals, for defensive stuff. Everybody knew that MJ was going to score. The problem is they couldn't stop him. So everybody
right,
else just did what they did to help him, to help them win. And that's exactly what Robin did. No matter where he went, he was like that. Except maybe the Pistons because he was young and reckless
right,
back then. But um, when he was on the Bulls, even when he went to the Lakers in Dallas, like at that point he was just there as like more marketing than anything else. But he knew
right.
his role. So I see the comparison between Draymond. I just don't think Draymond's at his level.
Oh, I will agree with that. And talk about top players. Rodman was a top NBA player. The way he would go for rebounds and play that factor, he's a huge. And this is again, I hate to say it, bro, but goes back to my argument why I think LeBron is the GOAT. And I'll tell you guys why. Jordan had a lot of very good players, very good role players, man. People want to elevate Jordan, but Jordan, without a guy like Rodman, does he get 6 rings? I don't think so, man.
He got three
Without a
with
guy like
Horace.
Pippen, exactly. Without a guy like Pippen, you think Jordan gets these rings?
See, but that's the
Not at
thing.
all. I
Jordan
that's
helped
my
help Jordan helped Pippen in his development, right? Pippen helped Jordan with his development because
right.
of the practices and stuff like that. That's the difference. None of these guys left. They played together, they learned together, they won together. They didn't go
Yeah.
seek out, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go over here because I don't get no help. Like, that's been his story this whole 22 years, which is outrageous, by the way, 22 years playing. But um,
Let's
everybody
go.
says, "Oh, LeBron doesn't get enough help. LeBron doesn't get enough help." But he's the one saying that. It's not anybody else, right? Even in his interviews, where he did his podcast with his coach, now Reddick, like he's like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
didn't have enough. We didn't have enough role players on Miami. You guys were a big three. The whole thing was that you didn't need anybody else. It was the three of you. You were gonna win 6, 7, 8 championships when you did that. So I don't know. That's the biggest thing for me is that it was more organic, the team that MJ built. They gave him role players that, yes, they may have been one dimensional, but they gelled together because they wanted to win. He wanted to win. He made them want to win. Right? You see it in the Last Dance and some of the stuff where people are like, "Oh, you know,
Yeah.
Jordan was this, Jordan was that." But yeah, but you can't argue the fact that his teams won. So
They won.
yeah,
They
they
won.
won.
I was actually, by the way, shout out to Anthony in the chat. I appreciate your commentary. He's talking about Draymond here. You love him on your team, but you hate him on the other team. I think that
Team.
was related to Draymond. I agree with that. If I was
Yeah.
a Warriors fan, I would love Draymond,
Hmm.
but obviously I'm not. So you know what I mean?
Like if you ever get a
Deadly favorite.
chance, if you ever get a
Go ahead.
chance, sorry to cut you off. If you ever get a
Yeah.
chance to watch early '90s Dennis Rodman when he was on the Pistons, when he wasn't when they weren't like the bad boys,
Yeah.
this guy was a defensive menace. Like he was strong,
Mm,
he was solid, and he disrupted people. Like that's how he started was targeting their best players, their defensive. He was the defensive stopper, but then came the bad boys and the reputation and all the media crap. Um, but he ended up being, still he ended up being a hustler, a rebounder,
mm.
and a role player. But if you watch him in his early days, it was ridiculous how good defensively this guy was.
I'll definitely check it out, man. You gave me a little bit of homework for next pod, brother. I like it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? I will say this: you made a great point that I was really thinking about. So, 2 points that I wanted to brush up on before we get to our last few topics. I think like you said, where you said Jordan stuck to one team and built with one team, and that built his legacy. People played their roles. I think KD's legacy, unfortunately, is fallen because he's been to so many teams and they
Yeah.
failed. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Had he stuck to OKC, who knows where OKC would be? Had he
Yeah.
actually stuck with the Warriors,
Yeah.
I'm not joking. He would have had probably 2, 3 more rings.
Yeah.
And then he'd be really in that GOAT discussion, like we talk about LeBron often, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing I'm going to give credit to Jordan is he stayed for the most part. People forget about the Wizard years because they don't want to touch that conversation. I know people don't want to touch the Wizard, but I'm going to just leave it on the Bulls. I
He
give
played
credit.
all 82 games as a 40-year-old. I'm just saying.
Hey, okay, okay. I'll say this: sticking with one team that actually adds to MJ's legacy. But to see what KD went through with this season, the Suns, I had really high hopes for the Suns. So bad, so disappointing. To see what he went through with Brooklyn,
Yeah.
that was disappointing.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that such a talented guy is going outside. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't like it. What are your
And
thoughts, brother?
I don't want to
Mhm.
say he's going out like forgotten, but there's nothing memorable about his career except
Right.
him switching teams. Right? When you hear
Exactly.
KD, that's the first thing that pops in your mind. Oh man, how many teams is he being on? Like, why was he
Mm,
traded because he's a bad player? No, fantastic
no.
player, fantastic scorer. But he
Mhm.
just is it the fact that he can't get along with his teammates? They can't stand
Right.
him. Like I don't know what the issue is, but yeah, it's sad to see that such a talent doesn't get. I don't want to say more recognition because he gets enough recognition, but it just he could have been something more than what he's gonna end up being remembered for. So
Right.
yeah,
I want to finish off the pod with two more topics because we really broke down the first round. The way I look at it again on the bracket is I think it's gonna be Thunder and Clippers in the next round, by the way, in the West. And I think it's gonna be Warriors, Timberwolves. By the way, what could be very fun as a series, right? Is that Clippers Thunder. But I think at the end it's gonna be Thunder versus probably Warriors. I don't know if the Timberwolves are gonna make it to the Western Conference Finals. If they make it, fingers crossed for my Lakers. Y'all know I want my
as I
Lakers
said,
to be
they're already past the first round. So
Yo, bro, chill, chill, chill. Yo, dog, you really playing with me, bro. You playing with me, man. This the uncle to be playing with the little nephew, bro. That's crazy, bro. No
absolutely,
diddy.
absolutely.
I'll say it like this: in my ideal world, I want OKC versus the Lakers. But if I'm being
Okay.
realistic, that you said the Clippers series versus OKC, I think that's going to be very, very close.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, with the experience that Kawhi has, Kawhi on his own shoulders took the Raptors to the NBA Finals and won. If you
Yeah.
have a healthy Kawhi versus a young OKC team that doesn't have that experience, if the Clippers make it, I think they're going to the finals, bro.
Yeah.
Because OKC is they're the monster. But what I'm probably predicting is a Thunder, probably Timberwolves. I don't know why, but I can see that in the West. Do you have
Yeah.
any thoughts on that, brother?
No, that's who I'm thinking it's going to be in the West is
Right.
OKC and in the Wolves, but I'm a little biased with my boy Ant. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the Warriors have enough to get past the second round. Like if they get
Fair.
past the first rounds, I just still don't know if they have it in them to get past that second round. So um, obviously it'll be a fun memory lane if the Lakers win and they go up against the Warriors in the second round. But um, maybe I'll watch one of the games. But
Hey,
um,
let's go.
but no, I'm thinking OKC and Wolves. So,
I like
but
it. We're
that's
gonna
that's
take
if
mental.
like you said, if OKC can get past the Clippers, if the Clippers win.
Mm,
Yeah.
this is gonna be interesting to watch, man. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And we're gonna keep track of this. Obviously, we're gonna be doing this weekly. Y'all know what time it is. Be here 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to Anthony in the chat saying Kawhi can clamp out
So,
HGA. I believe that.
hmm,
Kawhi is so good both ways.
yeah.
And Anthony saying, I saw Kawhi play in Toronto. He saves his games in the playoffs.
Oh,
SGA is from Canada. Yes, sir. Toronto Cat. Shout out to our Canadians, man.
yeah.
CA, all the C's. You know what I mean? And we doing red. We're not doing blue C's. You know what I mean? One thing that I have an advantage of having here is the OG. When I say OG, it means Unc be knowing things and be putting me up on game. He's a real knowledgeable person about basketball. And for me earlier, this is how I want to finish off the pod. Uh, I was watching an interview of Reggie Miller talking about when he has to play Jordan. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
this clip came up that I really liked and I found interesting. There was this fight. They were kind of like squaring up.
Yeah.
Reggie
Yeah.
Miller and Jordan were squaring up. I don't know what game this was. I don't know what it was, but they had some battles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to maybe get your perspective, bro, as a person who was maybe watching these or at least had some knowledge of it. how good was Reggie Miller versus Jordan? Like, how good were those matchups? Because I know they went to 7 one series, but I didn't watch that series like that.
It's the
So
only
maybe you put
only
me up
game
on game.
seven. The only game
Mm.
seven, or the only team that took Jordan to game seven was the Pacers. It
Oh,
was late. Yeah, it was late in Reggie's career,
okay.
but the
Right.
talent that they had was crazy. Like their point guard, one of my favorite players was Jalen Rose from Michigan.
Mm,
He was their point. They just had a ridiculous amount of actual talent that played
mm,
extremely well together. Nobody had that stupid superstar arrogance. They were all like it was almost like role players, but instead of
right.
just being role players, they were actual superstars. But they
Mm,
just played together as role players. Like it was crazy. Like they had a good leader. Nick Mark Jackson was still on the team. A
mm,
little bit of a liability defense because he was older, but Reggie was Reggie. This guy was Steph Curry before Steph Curry, right? Um,
right.
but yeah, who else did they have? Antonio. I think Antonio Davis was on that team. Oh,
Mm.
there he is, right there. Yeah. So
Oh, snap. All right.
the
Yeah.
Pacers had a really good team, and because they were more, I want to say more run and gun, they
Right.
gave the Bulls a challenge because the Bulls had their set offense, but like
Mm,
the transition defense back then was crazy. But that fight, it was a young Reggie Miller. I remember
right.
he was talking trash to Jordan, and Jordan's like, "Who do you think you are? Like you don't know who I am, right?" But
Oh, snap.
it was young. Yeah, it was young Reggie Miller, and then he shaved his head later in his career. But yeah, they scrapped. That was the thing with Chicago, New York,
Yeah.
Pistons, Indiana. Like these were all hard nosed, fundamental basketball teams, and
Right.
that's what made them amazing games to watch. Like look at Reggie's hair; it's ridiculous. Um,
The hair is tripping me out, bro.
yeah,
It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like
oh, it's
90s
phenomenal.
haircuts were crazy, bro.
Oh,
Like,
90
what are we
style was
doing, bro?
crazy, bro. 90 style was crazy. I'm just glad we didn't have any social media back then because no
Right.
pictures can't prove nothing. So,
No face, no case, bro.
yeah, exactly. Right. But Reggie Miller was like lanky as well. So he played good
Right.
defense on MJ and made him play the entire game. Like they were able to switch up. Jalen Rose was 6'7" as a point guard, right? So they
Oh,
had the length.
Like Luca, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they had the knowledge, they had the talent to play. Yeah, there you go. My boy Jalen Rose. That's why I always
Respect.
wear the number 5. Funny enough.
Oh, that's your
Yeah,
number?
that's my
Oh,
number is 5.
respect.
That's why I gotta give my
Respect.
boy Ant, more respect. As soon as he changed his number from 1 to 5, I was on
You
board.
knew what time it was?
Right? You see in that picture Chris Mullin in the back? Chris
Yeah, yeah.
Mullin? Oh my God, he was like another Larry Bird, but not Larry Bird. He was lesser known Larry Bird.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, this guy
okay,
had a
okay.
smooth shot. It was crazy. But
Okay.
he was older near the end of his career, I think. Yeah,
Right,
in those ones.
right.
He was more
I,
late 80s, early 90s, like super
so
early
so
90s.
I have a question for you though, right? And
Mhm.
actually, when I saw the interview, right, at least from what Reggie Miller was saying, he said, "Yo, I wasn't gonna back down. I don't care if Jordan was, the GOAT or
Mhm.
whatever, the best player. He didn't back down. And I really respected that.
100%.
But he kind of regretted that he only had one playoff series versus Jordan. My question to you, bro, is like why did the Pacers lose? Because if they took the Bulls to 7 games, that's really impressive. Like
Yep.
why did they lose? Uh, why do you think they lost, or what was going on? Because it sounds like the Pacers were really competitive. I mean,
Listen, the worst thing was is that the Pacers were leading in the game. In the third
oh,
quarter, if I remember, I think they had like an 8 point lead, 8 or 9 point lead in going into the fourth, which was
okay,
crazy. Like everybody was like, even myself, I was worried. I'm like, yo, Chicago can't lose. Like, what's happening right now? Right? Even though I like Reggie Miller, I like Jalen Rose, like I
yeah.
like people on Indiana. They were a good team to watch, fun team to watch. But it was just the never give up. I'm not gonna lose type of mentality that Jordan had. So he took it, and I think he scored. What was it? 16 points, 17 points in the last quarter. So
Oh,
and then I think they won by four or five. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was a close game, but yeah, they could have won. They Indiana had a good enough team to win the championship, and they were the only team that
Oh,
took Chicago to 7, right? But that was, I think that was the last, not the last year, second last year. So what, 97? I think it was
okay,
the
okay.
97, 96, 97 season, or 97, 98 season. I can't remember. Um, but Jordan, like, Chicago was tired by then, right? They had like a grueling series. Another
Right.
reason why Indiana didn't have a lot of series with Chicago was because their battles with New York were legendary, like
Mm,
legendary rivalry. Indiana and New York, especially in that early '90s, early to mid '90s. So, um,
right.
yeah, those were fun, and they always met each other because of the seed, right? The seeding place that they had, they always met
Um,
either in the first round or in the second round, so that before they got to Chicago. So that's why Ewing doesn't have a championship. Reggie doesn't have a championship, right? So it
wow.
sucks because there was some great teams in the East in the '90s that if Jordan wasn't there, they could have won a couple of ships back to back, right? But
Interesting.
yeah,
What's interesting too is that actually, if you check the highlights, Minnesota versus the Lakers today, Ant Edwards was actually pushing LeBron a lot, and
mm.
LeBron they were like hand fighting in the game. Obviously, they didn't take it as far as you know what I mean,
yeah,
Reggie Miller, and they didn't take it this far. You know, this ain't
yeah,
'90s basketball. I think Jordan got some hits in. You know what I
yeah.
mean on
More
our
more
boy
like
Reggie
a more like
Miller.
a slap.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
yeah,
these guys are going to war for real, for real.
yeah.
But I will say this: I did not know the Knicks and Indiana was really going to war like that
Oh
in
yeah,
the
it was
'90s. I
in
might
the
check
'90s.
that
Yeah.
out. I might do my homework, right?
Hmm.
So they almost beat each other up, and Chicago kind of
Came in
was
and just
maybe on the
finished
other
it. Yeah,
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Those, like
Okay,
those
so that's
games
probably
were those games
yeah.
were amazing to watch. Yeah,
Mm,
like
I
Ewing,
guess I
like
have
in that,
homework.
yeah, in that picture, I think Ewing's not near his end, but he's not in his prime, if I
Mm,
remember correctly. But like he still had, like, again, Latrell Sprewell, Anthony Houston. Anthony Houston was outrageous. This guy was, I don't know why he's not remembered higher, but I think he got injured late in his career and then he kind of fell off that way. But
right.
that guy was clutch. Like, Anthony Houston was clutch. John Starks,
Okay.
John Starks, oh man, John Starks was like gritty, but you loved to hate him because he was that type of player. Yeah, there you go. Allen Houston,
Say
not Anthony
what?
Houston. Allen Houston.
Okay. So they were really going at it like that's that '90s energy basically.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I think just because of the rules and just how this generation is, obviously that's not the type of basketball we see now. Obviously,
Mhm,
I mean, me, I like that basketball. It's intense. I'll definitely check some of the games out, check out some of the highlights.
mhm.
I will give Reggie Miller this credit, man. The man can shoot, bro. I watched some of the. This man was a shooter.
Yeah.
And I'm like that. And the thing is, it was clutch, at least from what I
Mhm.
saw, like the right time. So
Yeah.
like he's not like a guy. This is one of my critiques for Steph Curry. Steph Curry's not a really big clutch shooter. Like he improved, but
Mhm.
Curry is just a great shooter, of course. But Reggie Miller, I think, was hitting shots in the clutch, man. Like when a team really needed it. So shout out Reg Miller, man.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he went at Jordan, bro. I just
Yeah.
like that energy. Don't be
That,
afraid
that's
of going to the guy. You know what I mean?
that's the thing, and I think that's what's changed a lot in this game now is like everybody's
Right,
friends, right? Nobody wants to screw up their $300 million contract by rolling an ankle or fracturing a finger, anything like that. So they don't play as hard because they don't have to. They don't need to. They're already
right.
making 200 million for a commercial. Like, so there's no need to go out every night and prove who's better because they're all getting paid, right? So I think that's the
Mm,
biggest difference for me is the intensity that these guys don't have. Like, yeah, there's rivalries, whatever, and like little mini scraps here and there, but I don't see enough of them leaving it all out on the floor, right?
okay.
Like, some people have to leave early to go get ready for the next game. So
Right.
it is. So it just I don't know. The intensity is not there. Or you know, is it better basketball than the '90s? It's I don't. It's they're freer. They're scoring a lot more points, right? But is
A
it
lot of
better?
spacing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different style. So no matter
Right.
where you grew up, obviously whatever you grew up in is always going to be the style of basketball that you like, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
but it just games aren't as exciting. Like take the All Star game. Like normally
Oh, don't get me
I go to my
started,
boy's
bro.
house. Yeah, normally I go to my boy's house. We enjoy watching it, whatever. But
Yeah.
like we didn't even go to anybody's house. We didn't even bother watching it. Like
It
it
was a
was
waste of time
a
because
waste of time,
it.
right? And
Yeah.
this is supposed to be what attracts people to the league. This is what's supposed to bring new viewership. So
Right.
there's no competitiveness anymore. They're not, they're not playing against the best guys in the world. So it just seems like, oh, it's just a glorified scrimmage. Everybody's paying, $5,000 for a front row ticket just to see, just to see you. Like I can see you on
Right.
on YouTube, like, and it's free, right? So I don't know. It's a different game, obviously, but um,
Right.
there's nothing bad. You can't. It evolves to what the commissioner and what the league thinks the fans want, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
Mm.
maybe they need to show a little bit more intensity to get their viewership back. So I
I
don't know.
will say this. You're absolutely right because even me and my bros, obviously we're this generation, right? And we just I remember not even like too late ago. Like, remember the big three from Boston? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett.
KG, yeah.
E- Even at that point, that basketball was so good, and the
Mm-hmm.
scores were not high. Like, you'll have
No.
a game that goes up to 95, 101 at the most,
Mm-hmm.
but you knew you were getting an intense basketball game where it was also more interior. It wasn't more outside, like
Yeah.
perimeter. You'd have people banging in the post and actually playing on both ends. It's almost like required, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now our era is getting so huge on the offense that you have like we just talked about. OKC destroy Memphis by 50 points. Like, that's not real basketball. Like, what
Yeah.
is that? So, but I'll give the other side. I'll give the other side. You'll have like the Clippers versus Nugget series, where
Mm-hmm.
you'll see a very competitive basketball game start to finish, right?
Yeah.
So it's hit and miss, but the best basketball I noticed is in the playoffs because they take it way more serious,
Serious. Yeah.
and that's why I love playoffs. That's why I'm a big fan of Kawhi because Kawhi plays kind of old school. I like Jokic a lot. He plays very old school. Clippers Nuggets series, I want it to go 7 games. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic. And I want everybody who's listening to us and watching us to smash that like button. We got 11 people in the building. Shout out to our boy Anthony in the chat, giving a lot of comments, repping that old school like Unc here. You know what I mean?
That Rodman jersey in
Yeah,
the back. Yeah. Yep.
you know what I mean? That Rodman jersey in the back. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even peep that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so dope. You know what I mean? But I think we've covered every topic, man. We even broke down this Reggie Miller conversation, bro. I really appreciate y'all for being here, man. Breaking it down with us, man. And if you guys are trying to see what's going on right now, I think Boston is up. If we look here, I think Boston is up 62 to 58
Eight.
versus the Orlando Magic. I'm predicting that Boston wins this game. And then a bit later, we got Indiana versus Milwaukee. I think that's pretty much done too.
Mm.
What are your final thoughts before we call it a night, man? What are your thoughts before we give that deuces to our chat, man?
The
Yeah.
deuces. Yeah. Like the Celtics, obviously, I think they're gonna win this one. I
Mhm.
would like to see the Bucks kind of make it competitive, but I don't know.
Right.
I think Indiana has their number, and without I don't want to say without Dame because I don't think he made a super duper difference
Yeah.
when he played. Right? Like I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
I know he was injured and all that stuff, but I don't think he I don't know. He didn't make the difference that he thought he was gonna make. right? Look at Spider.
No,
Spider on in Cleveland. It has taken him a couple of years to get
huge
settled,
difference. It
right?
took them
But
to the
like,
moon. Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
maybe that's it. Maybe he just needs to adapt into his role. Like look at Westbrook coming off the bench for the Nuggets, right? He's settled down
huge.
in that role. He knows now he's not the star. He's not even the second or the third.
No, like a
He's
fourth
six
guy,
man.
maybe third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So he settled into that role, and I think he's helping them. But so we'll see. Maybe hopefully Dank's healthy. Next year they can gel a little bit more, and because I like Milwaukee, man. I like the Greek Freak and all the
Oh,
effort
me,
that
I
he's put
like
in
him
there.
too,
So
bro. Yeah.
he's like just a true sportsmanship guy. So it's unfortunate that they're not going to win, but um,
Yeah.
you know it is what it
I'm
is.
a I'm gonna say it like this. We haven't talked about it. We'll talk about this another time. But Greek Freak had a pretty great season too, man. 30, 11, 6, 60% from the field. And he's another guy who plays both ends, old school, man.
Yeah,
I love his game. I
yeah.
love his game. Let's holler at some people in the chat before we call it a night. I think Addy 21 is like you. It says Lakers would need a miracle to win the series. 3-1 lead deficit is already impossible feat. If LeBron possesses possesses those 2016 vibes on him, not gonna happen. Their defense is suck, maybe 6 game at max.
Max.
Oh, you hurt my feelings, but I don't know. So we got another Anthony coming here. He collects Jordan shoes, 300 pairs in total,
Yeah,
bruh.
yeah.
You rich, bruh.
Brother, this
Respect,
guy this
go.
guy's sneakerhead for sure,
We gonna
which is
need you to
great.
come in the chat, man. You know what it is. 7:30
Hmm.
p.m. every Sunday, man. We love to have you here, man. Appreciate you. Addy comes in. Golden State Warriors versus Timberwolves in round 2 for sure. I think that's kind of where we're both going.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm wishful thinking. I'm a Lakers guy. Y'all know what time it is. For the Lakers to win, they have to stop complaining if the ref don't call a foul, run down on defense. You're talking about Luca, bro. Stop being shy about it. You're talking about Aunt Loki LeBron. I'm sorry.
Like that's
we
that's I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt. I'm gonna get that made of LeBron doing this, and I'm gonna wear it as soon as they're out of the playoffs.
you doing me dirty, bro.
Anthony, thank you for that idea.
You doing me dirty, cuz oh my god, Anthony coming in. Giannis might go to Toronto for a trade. I think that'd be great, man. I think
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic. Well, what are your thoughts on that before we call it a night, bro?
I
Giannis Toronto?
like Giannis Toronto. I'd love to see that, obviously, because it's a Canadian team. But um,
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. That kind of caught me off guard. I'll be honest with you. But it'd be
I was
exciting to
like,
see. But as I was, I don't know. I would want to. I want him to stick with the Bucks and see what he can do for the next couple of years. But like I said, with like
he
a healthy Dame.
yes.
Yeah.
I will say this. He's one of the superstars who stayed loyal to his team because he could have been traded a
Hmm.
few times.
Oh, for sure.
He could have left a few times, but he
Mhm.
decided to stay. I just think that as soon as the Bucks fire this guy, they'll probably become good again. You know what I mean?
It's
I'm
the
like,
curse of Doc
oh,
Rivers, man. Poor guy.
I'm like, bro, how many times has this guy gotten hired? One ring, bro. What? Uh, this guy stays having a job.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because
Oh
he
my
what was it?
god,
He
man.
won the ring with who? Boston.
With Boston, yeah,
Yeah,
that was like
yeah,
2008. So
yeah,
more than 10 years ago. Think about
yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
almost
Big
20
time.
years ago. It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Big
man.
three, big
Oh
ticket.
man.
Kevin Garnett. Yeah,
Shout out to the big ticket, man. I appreciate everybody for being here in the chat, man. Appreciate Anthony being in the chat, Addy in the chat, everybody who smashed the like button. I hope y'all have definitely smashed the like button. Appreciate what we do here. Shout out to Sleepy Euphoria as well, man, for contributing in the conversation. Y'all have been amazing. It's been Unc Phew Basketball Edition. Same time, same place.
peace.
Next Sunday, 7:30 p.m. I'm finna do my laundry, maybe make some food. But I appreciate y'all. And to my Laker fans, Lakers in 7. Don't listen to Unc.
Nah.
Don't listen to Unc, man.
Are you talking
Any
about
last
next year,
words before we
maybe, or
cut?
like what?
Oh,
Lakers in 7 next year? They're going to Cancun in a couple of days. So.
Doing me dirty, bro.
Yeah.
Doing me dirty. I guess we'll find out next week.
Fair enough.
We
Fair
gonna
enough.
know by next week.
Sounds good. Sounds
Appreciate
good.
y'all for tuning in, man. It's been Unc Phew Basketball Edition. Appreciate y'all. We out.
Peace.